Hey, what's up? So I wanted to make a quick video this morning talking about a situation that I just had to deal with that I didn't really think was something that I would ever encounter, but yeah, so let's dive right into it. I started collecting retro games again pretty recently, mostly like GameCube stuff and like Dreamcast, things like that. That obsession sort of turned me in the direction of more cartridge-based things. Specifically the Game Boy. You know, I'm very deep into GameCube stuff now, and naturally that evolved into GBA because they were both out at the same time. Some GBA games link up with GameCube, etc, etc. So I go through and I start collecting all of these games, mainly through eBay and through your local stores. Buy games from your local stores. Support the awesome mom and pop shops. But the situation that I encountered was with a copy of Pokemon Ruby. I had never played any of the GBA Pokemon games, so I figured, hey, let's try one out, and Groudon or what have you I think looks cooler than the Manta Ray thing, so I was like, alright, let's try Ruby out. So I found a listing on eBay. Let's see if we can pull it up real quick. So this was the eBay listing, obviously a really cheap price for it. I don't want to share the seller's name because I have no beef with this guy. He's been totally cool about the return process, but let me just show you what the detail says right here. 100% authentic as seen by Nintendo, shipping in cartridge, fully functional, blah blah blah. So it looks pretty legit, right? I mean, obviously that's cheaper than it should go for, but, you know, a picture on a website can really only tell you so much. You kind of have to look in person to get the best idea. So let's check that out. Okay, so this is the copy of Pokemon Ruby that I got in the mail. Now, for those who are into this kind of thing will notice immediately the first problem is that the label is not the holographic material that all of the original ones are. This is just a flat, you know, just basic cover art, right? The second thing you'll start to notice, so one of the second tells is typically looking at the Nintendo logo. Let's see if we can get a good zoom here. Come on, autofocus. Okay, so that Nintendo looks pretty correct. But again, we know that the label's not right because it's not the holographic material. But the molding at the top looks fine, the molding of the arrow looks fine. But this was where the first one gave away, right? So if we look at this version of the cartridge, the seal of quality logo is floating above the serial number, or the product number. Now the product number is correct, but the position of the seal of approval was the tell. This was the first thing that I was like, okay, this is wrong, and I'll show you why. So if you look at a real image of a real Pokemon Ruby, you'll notice that the seal of quality floats, it's almost on top of the serial number, right? And if you look at mine, it's significantly smaller and way higher. So that was the first tell that I was like, okay, something's whack here, right? So the second tell was a little bit more involved, right? So some people know that if you look on the inside of a GBA card, let's see if we can get this. Okay, see that? That Nintendo, right? So that Nintendo is supposed to tell us, like, okay, that's correct. However, so we've got this copy of Final Fantasy Dawn of Souls. Now, I bought this. I still have the box for it. Like, I literally purchased this in a store. I 100% know that this is real. It's like my original copy from back in the day, right? Okay, see the Nintendo in there? It's got the little circle around it. Alright? Okay, so the next giveaway, right? So let's look at the Pokemon Ruby again. Now, flip it over to the back, and we've got Nintendo, model number blah blah blah, but you'll notice something's a little weird, right? So again, I've got this Final Fantasy 1 and 2, like I bought this back in the day, I know that this is legit, like I literally purchased it in a store, right? So if we look at the back, Nintendo, model number, now we look at this Nintendo, and it's different, it's a totally different font. Totally different font. The spacing of serial number and the made in Japan, the patent pending is all a little off. So, needless to say, I was a little bummed out. Thankfully, the eBay seller was really cool, and he's taking a refund for it. But for anybody who is in the market for old GBA Pokemon games, just be mindful of this stuff. There's a couple of pretty telling signals. You want to look for the Nintendo in the bottom left. Make sure the spacing on all of the characters on the cover are right. If you're getting a Pokemon game, make sure it's the holographic stuff. Be sure to check the text in the back, and also check that Nintendo logo on the inside to see if it's legit. Alright.